they produce, our industry produced more multi-millionaires than any other industry in the world. And by that it says, look, $30 million or more is the worth per person. That's pretty powerful, yes or no? Yes. So this ain't just a little thing you're here looking at tonight. I hope you really pay attention. I hope you pay attention. That's powerful. So, you know, the fact is, why is the financial industry growing so much right now? It's because of financial illiteracy. You know, the fact is, in America right now, our knowledge about finances are getting worse. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Now, how do we know that this is true? How do we know this is a true statement? Because, like my grandmother, when she was 30 years old and she went and bought a house, there was only one kind of loan she could get on her home. You know what it was? 15-year fixed. And you had to put 20% down or you didn't buy a home. Now, my mother, when she went to go buy a home, there was a few other kinds of loans. They had 30-year fixed, 20-year fixed, 15-year fixed, and you still had to put 20% down or you didn't buy a home. But then our generation, now they have interest only, where you don't even own the home. I ask people, I go, do you know they tricked you into buying a house, but you're still renting it because you never pay down the principal. You pay taxes, insurance, and maintenance. And they tricked you into taking all the risk. Because if the market value goes down and interest rates goes up, what do you do to your home? You lose it. And did that just happen? So the fact is, it is getting worse. I ask people, see, you got to be passionate about something to be successful at it. And people say, Jeff, I just don't know if I can get passionate about finances. I go, I'm in, right? I agree. I was 20 years old when I started here. You know how excited I was about finance? Wow. Seriously. I mean, that's what I thought. But, you know, a crusade is a totally different thing. You start taking advantage of my mom, you take advantage of my parents, and all of a sudden I get pissed. Yes or no? Yes. It's like our country. Do you think when the founding of our country they wanted to fight a war? No, but they had a crusade that they were winning the war when we founded this country. Yes or no? So this is our crusade. Let me ask you, how would you feel if the financial challenges you faced each day had been purposely planned and calculated with you and your loved ones as the target? How would you feel?
Yes.
How would you feel if your loved ones were being tempted, seduced, and entrapped and you were unaware it was even happening? See, most people don't even know that the financial industry for the last 30 years has hired psychologists to get money out of your pocket and into theirs. Want me to prove it to you? Right now, you can go down to Walmart, you can buy, if you got a daughter, you can go buy a Barbie doll for your daughter. And come with that Barbie doll will be a pack of credit cards. And you know why they put them plastic credit cards in there? To teach the 5-year-old girl that it's okay to use credit cards. So when she gets 18, and let's say, and hopefully she's a little bit older. I'm from Utah, so everybody at 18 got kids, right? But she starts having kids, right? but so let's say when she gets older and she starts having kids and she doesn't have the money to buy the Barbie dolls, what does she use? The credit card she's been trained to use since she was 5 years old. It's just a psychological thing. It just happens all of a sudden now. They're just used to using credit cards. You ask someone to cut them up and they go, no credit cards? How am I going to book an airline ticket online? It's called debit, like where you actually have the money you spend. Right? Let me ask you this. How would you feel if your family were a pawn in another's plan to get rich at your expense? You tell people every week there's nothing wrong with getting rich in America. In fact, you're supposed to. That's what this country was founded for. Y'all know that? This country was not founded for you not to get rich. It was founded by 56 gentlemen who were already rich. And the reason they came to America is they were sick of being taxed to death, and they said, I want to give an opportunity for somebody so you can move from anywhere in the world with $100 in your pocket, and you can become the richest guy in the country too. Y'all realize that's why America was founded? It wasn't founded because some guys decided to take a boat ride across the ocean and start a new country. And most people realize, so there's nothing wrong with getting rich. That was everything our country was founded based upon, was financial freedom and financial independence. So there's nothing wrong with it, but if you're getting rich at somebody else's expense, there is everything wrong with that. See, let me tell you something. In 2004, 2005, 2006, these banks, insurance companies, mortgage companies, real estate companies, they were making a fortune, yes or no? Hand over fist. Everybody knows somebody who has a brother, sister, aunt, uncle. They're all licensed to sell real estate or do mortgages, and they were all doing it, yes or no? And they're all making a lot of money. And so banks and insurance companies and mortgage companies were making record profits. And then in 2008, what happened? The financial tsunami hit America. They call it a financial crisis. Now, during this financial crisis, what happened? These companies started going to our government and saying, we're too big to fail. They were on their knees begging for money. Right or wrong? And whose money were they begging for? Yours. So think about this. These companies that were making money hand over fist are begging for your money. And the government gives it to them. And during that same time, you or your friends, your family have lost their homes, have gone bankrupt, have had to short sale, your 401k turned into 101k. Yes or no? Hours been cut, costs have gone up. And what if I told you during all of that time, right now, today in America, banks, and you know the founder of Countrywide is a billionaire today? Y'all realize Countrywide went bankrupt? He's a billionaire. Because he did what? He shorted his own company, bet against his own company, saying, I bet all these people are going to default. And he was right. And made $1 billion doing it. So all these guys are richer. Banks are sitting on record piles of cash, more than they've ever had before in the history of America. And whose money do they got? Yours. They played a shell game with your money, and they won. And we let them do it. And so I just think it's crazy. So another thing happened in January 1, and this has nothing to do with politics. I just want you guys to know, I really don't care who you vote for. It doesn't matter to me. I tell everybody, look, the fact is the president's the president. I'm not. So you'll never hear me say anything negative. Fair enough? I respect anybody who can make it if you become president. So I think anybody who says anything negative has no right to stand. Does that make sense? So this has nothing to do with politics, but it does have to do with your money. And I just want you to understand the rules of what's happening, because it is happening right now, and some of you are seeing it. And if we're in the financial business, should you know what's happening to your money and why? Yes. So we'll just call it the Affordable Care Act, because that's really what it's called. Fair enough? So there's 5 things that are happening because of the Affordable Care Act. Number 1 is 2/3 of Americans' employees' wages will decrease as employers deal with increasing costs. So what's happening is a lot of you, raise your hand if you've noticed your check's a little bit smaller because Social Security tax is the beginning of the year. Yep, on average it's $400 a month per American. Did you guys know that? Some of you guys go, why was my check a little bit smaller this time? Social Security taxes went up. Okay? So we're seeing it happen. Number 2 is loss of existing insurance coverage. And I'm going to talk to you about why that's happening here in a second. Premiums in the individual market are going to skyrocket. So here's what's scary, you guys. And it's happening right now, and it's crazy. See, what used to happen is in the insurance industry, like in the health insurance industry, let's say you have a guy who's 55 years old, he's 5'5", 350 pounds, overweight, diabetic, eats at McDonald's every day, drinks soda instead of water, is totally unhealthy. Now his health insurance, naturally the health insurance companies would probably decline him. Y'all understand that? Now I totally agree that everybody should have health insurance. I'm totally for that. But the problem is now they put a cap on what they could charge this guy. So they can't decline him, but they put a cap on what they could charge him. But then you take a young guy, which is Jordan, right? Yes. So let's say I take Jordan, who Jordan's probably, I don't know, 5'10", 160 pounds. Yeah. So he's 5'10", 160 pounds. He's in good shape. He eats good. He doesn't, do all these crazy things that some people do. He's very healthy. So how often does Jordan go to the doctor? Never. So his health insurance premium should be very low, right or wrong? Right. But since they can cap this guy, they can't charge him anymore. Where do they get the difference? From Jordan. So now his have to be higher too. So he's having to pay higher health costs because of this other 55-year-old guy who decided not to eat right. You guys know what's happening? Full-time workers turn part-time to avoid the employer mandate. So what's happening now is, if you're a full-time employee, which means if you work 30 hours a week or more, I know we thought full-time, we thought full-time should be 40 hours a week or more, right? Right. But the law says that it's 30 hours. So if you work below 30 hours, they don't have to provide health insurance coverage for you. So now what they started doing is they said, we can't afford health insurance for everybody, so we'll just lower your hours. Raise your hand if you know somebody that's happened to recently. This whole friggin' room. I'm going to show an article here in just a second. So now think about this. They were working 40 hours a week. They're working 40. And January 1, companies started cutting hours to 28 or less. So now you have no health insurance, right? But now it's the law, you have to buy it. So now if you don't have health insurance, you pay taxes and penalties from the IRS. So now you make less money, but now you also are required by law to buy health insurance. See, there was a loophole employers figured out, so they said, we'll just cut their hours. They have to buy it now. You don't believe me? Can I get the Elmo real quick, Brandon, please? I'll show you this article. It's just happening right now. You guys say that, but that you've seen it. This is front page of Yahoo Finance. Fast food chains cut workers' hours. Blame the Affordable Care Act, right? It says, Count Wendy's is the latest fast food chain to respond to Obamacare with a reduction in workers' hours. Their hours would be cut in anticipation of mandates in the Affordable Care Act. The store said employees in non-management positions will have their hours reduced to 28 a week. A spokesman blamed the cuts on the new law that will require employers to offer health coverage to employees who log at least 30 hours a week or pay penalties starting $2,000 per worker. He said he can't afford to stay in operation and pay for everybody's health insurance. He said, and in October, look at this. In October, Darden Restaurants, which most of you guys don't know who Darden Restaurants is, but they own Olive Garden and Red Lobster, stopped offering full-time schedules. You guys believe that? That's Olive Garden and Red Lobster. They don't even hire anybody full-time anymore. Because if they hire you full-time, they have to give you health insurance. So we just turned our country into a part-time society. That's a great thing for our business, and you're going to see why tonight. We love it. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it created the greatest growth opportunity. The reason why we're packed in here like sardines is because of this. So we go, is this a political thing? Yes, and thank goodness it's happening for our business. And I hope you pay attention tonight because of that. Then Social Security is going to be gone. So you think about this. They just raise your Social Security taxes, but still right here it says it's going to run out in 2033. So you're paying into something you're never going to get a benefit for. How's that make you feel? Right? So we're going to talk to you about how to fix these things tonight. They're crazy what's happening, yes or no? Some of you guys showed up and you go, I already knew all this stuff was happening. Get to the good stuff. I already knew this was happening. Tell me something I didn't know. Right or wrong?
Right.
So we're going to talk to you guys about some concepts that will change your life. Listen, if you're a guest here and all your goal was to learn our financial concepts, I promise you if you take some notes and take these concepts, you'll get financially independent in the next 10 to 15 years. Guaranteed. If you learn these concepts and you pay attention to them, I promise you, they will change your life. If you came down here because someone said, I want to learn to make an extra $1,000 to $3,000 a month part-time, or I want to own my own office because we're opening up brokerages and I want to make a good income, then ask yourself how many people need to know these concepts. And you're going to, well, you already know, but the guests don't know yet, right? So you're going to see it. I want you to ask yourself those questions as we go through. So the first person I get to bring up, I'm so proud of her, you guys. This is my mother-in-law, and I used to work for her. And she sold her company, came to work with us in Primerica, and she's just doing absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you think about it, she just became a brand new regional vice president, and in the month of December, with cash, company stock, and all, she was paid over $20,000 in the month of December. Now, how incredible is it that when I met my mother-in-law, she was running her advertising company, she was not making no 20 grand a month. And her daughter, which is my wife, decides to bring her into the business. We teach her the business. She gets good. She becomes a regional vice president. Makes 20 grand a month in December. If that isn't the most exciting thing in the world, I don't know what is. Because I love helping people come in here and make some good income, but providing a great life for their family. And she's just doing an incredible job. Strong woman leader. Give it up for the awesome Kara Roaster.